Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Tiffany with Voices for Independence, Fitness and Activities, and I'm here to share another delicious recipe with you. I have been working on a series which I was calling Cooking Across America, where I find a dish that was made popular by each state across the country. This morning, we are stopping in the far northwest part of the country. We'll be stopping in Washington State. Washington State's known for many things. One of my favorites. Lots of brands have come out of Washington, and Starbucks actually was started there. Coffee. I love coffee. It's part of my morning routine. But also, besides Starbucks and coffee, one of the original outsources that they are known for and is the apple. Yes, the simple apple. Washington State is one of the top producers of all the apples that are exported across the country to all the other states. They do this because they have prime conditions in Washington State for growing apples because of its nice, dry, arid weather and its cooler temperatures that last longer throughout the season. And also they have lava ash rich dirt and soil that provides great nutrients for growing these apples. Now, apples did not originate in Washington, nor did they actually originate in the United States. But the first apple tree was planted in Washington State around 1826, and then by 1889 they had their first commercial orchard and started exporting the product across the country. So kind of along with that, just a little side note, I feel like I'm taking over Netflix, but there is a show on Netflix called Down to Earth with Zac Efron. Now, I wasn't so sure about it, nothing against Zac Efron, but I just knew that he was in that movie in the, I don't know, early 2000s. I'm not even sure when it was. I was too old for it, but High School Musical, and that's how he became popular as an actor. Not that that's a bad thing, but I kind of typecast him. But this documentary with Zac Efron, he also partners up with Darren Olean, who is a world-renowned nutritionist and whole foods expert who eats all clean, natural. He's actually a vegan, and they team up to do a documentary where they discuss just where food comes from all over the world. So it's a really great series on Netflix called Down to Earth with Zac Efron. So I highly recommend it. And they actually talk about the history of the apple and how it came to be. And it's really fascinating. They talk about all different food types and sources, and they talk about environmental issues and things like that. So if you're into health, wellness, nutrition, where your food comes from, the environment, things like that, I would highly recommend that show on Netflix. But aside from that, back to Washington State. Like I said, apples is one of their main exports, but today we are going to be incorporating it into a delicious little cake. We're going to just make a traditional Washington apple cake. It's a simple process because you know I just like those simple recipes that have ingredients that you can typically find in your home or easily find at the grocery store. Today's recipe, when I attach in the comments below, it'll be for a full-size cake in a 13 by 9-inch baking dish. I am halving the recipe here this morning to make a smaller dish, an 8 by 8 or a 7 by 9-inch pan. Just because I've been making a lot of sweets lately and taking them to the Voices for Independence offices, and I feel we need to get back on track, folks. I know as much as you hate it, I need to get back to my more clean eating. This has had a detriment on my health and wellness, but it's still delicious, a little bit, everything in moderation, so I'm just making a smaller version of the cake, and I'll be taking it into the North office either later today or tomorrow. But you can try the recipe at home and share it with your family and friends. So what you need for this recipe, I'm going to go over the half recipe. We are going to be using, let me just find my oils here because I'm going to start with that. We are going to use a half a cup of oil, or I just melted my butter. That's a great substitution if it calls for a vegetable oil. I rather use a whole natural butter. So that's what I have, and we're going to mix our wet ingredients first. So I have my oil or my butter melted, 1 stick, a half a cup, and now we're going to add 2 eggs to it The actual recipe calls for 3 eggs. That's for the whole cake. You can't really half 3 eggs. We can't do 1.5 eggs. So when you're making a cake, it's always better to go with the next whole number. Go up instead of down, because eggs is what makes your cakes light and fluffy. So I'm going with 2 eggs. And then I'm going to mix those into my butter. I just got to get my spatula out here. And we're going to mix those, mix those in. And then we're going to add a little bit of vanilla to it as well. And then in the meantime, or before this, you can get your pan ready. You want to lightly spray, grease your pan for baking. That will make sure your cake doesn't stick when you want to take it out of the pan and serve. We're going to actually add a half a teaspoon of vanilla to our wet ingredients. And then we'll start adding our dry. There's not many. We're just going to be adding some flour, some sugar, a little bit of cinnamon. And we also have some pecans crushed. If you do not like nuts or you have a nut allergy, obviously you can omit them or substitute them for a nut if you are not into pecans. I am going to be adding 1 cup of flour to this and also a half a cup of sugar. So I'm just going to pour those right in. I apologize, 3/4 cup of sugar, a little more sugar to sweeten those apples up. So we're going to add our dry ingredients right into our wet ingredients and just mix together into a nice cake batter. And then what we're going to do, we're actually not going to put the apples into the batter. We're going to line the bottom of our pan, our baking dish with it, and then we're going to pour our cake batter on top. But we will be mixing in the pecans with the cake batter. So again, if you have a nut allergy, you don't like nuts, or you don't want pecans, just omit that step. It won't affect the outcome of your cake. If you do add it and you are taking it to friends and family, just remember, nowadays we just have to make people aware that there's nuts in them. It's a, I don't want to say popular, but it's a common allergy now, so we have to be careful, make sure people are aware, especially when it's mixed into something. So we're going to just add a half a cup of pecans to that. I just have some crushed ones here. I usually have different kinds of nuts always available at my house. I've been running low, though. I just noticed this morning I'm going to have to get to the market and buy some more raw. I need almonds, I need peanuts, obviously I need some more pecans now. I've been baking away here, so I'm running out of ingredients. All right, so you just want to mix those pecans in till they're well incorporated. Pecans. And then we are going to prepare our dish really quickly. So we have our pan. I already sprayed it, so it's lightly greased. And then I have 3 apples, and they're peeled, cored, and thinly sliced. I did that earlier just to save some time for demonstration purposes. I just used a vegetable peeler. It worked really well to peel them instead of, if you don't have one of those crank peelers like I showed you earlier. I didn't feel like getting it out this morning, although it's super handy. Vegetable peeler works just as well. And then I just used my apple slicer and then cut the sections a little thinner. If you don't have an apple slicer, just use your regular paring knife, and you can slice it up very easily as well, just around the core. And then we're just going to lay these out. I am actually just going to pour them in and spread them out. Since they're going to bake up and get soft, it'll be okay. They don't have to be in any special design, because this is on the bottom and we're not turning this out upside down or anything. You won't see the bottom of the cake, so it is okay if your apples are going every which way. Just make sure they're evenly spread out so they bake evenly, and not one portion of the cake has more apples than another. So let me just spread them out. That looks nice. Peel apart my thin ones. Make sure you do them thin, because again, you want them to bake evenly. All right, once they're in the bottom of your pan, then we're simply going to take our cake batter and pour that right on top of the apples. Kind of pouring it along the top as you go. It'll be easier to spread if you pour it out in different sections. That way it's not in one spot and you have to pull it all the way across the apples, because your apples could move out of position if you have to spread it too much. All right, so all of our batter is in here. This is gonna go in a 350-degree oven, and I'll check the baking time for you in 1 minute. Again, I have to adjust it. I made half the size that it calls for, so if you're doing a half a cake as well, make sure you adjust your baking time. We don't want it overdone, then you'll get a dry cake that's not as tasty. Although the apples should provide a lot of moisture to this to make it nice and soft. All right, so my cake batter is spread over the top of my apples, and we are gonna put this in the oven for, let me check the time. Oh, it doesn't even, oh, this says 1 hour. I'm probably gonna do about 30 to 40 minutes and then check again because I'm at half the size. So once you pop that in the oven, let me do that now. My oven is preheated. And then we're gonna make a delicious cream cheese glaze for the top, or icing. Make sure you preheat your oven and let your oven warm up to temperature. I know when I first started baking, I never really did that, but it really affects the baking time and the baking outcome. You really want it at the full temperature before you put your dish in the oven. That way you can ensure that it will bake evenly, which is very important. All right, for the icing, you're gonna need, again, I'm halving it and I'll provide the full recipe in the comments below, but you're gonna need 3 ounces of cream cheese softened, added to about 2 tablespoons of butter melted, which I had done just a little bit ahead of time. So I have my cream cheese softened with my 2 tablespoons of butter in there, and I kind of whisked it together to incorporate the two. Now, it might look a little oily, buttery, because there is oil in cream cheese as well, but once we add the sugar, it will even and smooth out for you. So we are going to be adding 3/4 cup of powdered sugar to this. So let me find my measuring cup. And our powdered sugar is a staple in all frosting and icings. It's a main ingredient. It's the sugar that we typically use. Remember, if you do not have powdered sugar in the house, but you do have a high-powered blender, you can make your own powdered sugar simply by putting your regular sugar in the blender with a little bit of cornstarch and turn it up high, and it will make a fine powder for you out of your regular sugar. I've done it before. It works well. I've had to do it a couple times here on our live cooking demos when I didn't have the ingredient available, the powdered sugar available. So I can vouch for that homemade recipe. All right, so if you have a hand mixer, sometimes that might lend a hand when you're making frostings and icings, because it will help smooth it out and make sure you have no sugar clumps in it from the powdered sugar. Because my butter was still warm and my cream cheese was softened, I should be able to do it by hand. This is a little bit of a thicker icing. It's not as thick as a frosting, and it's not as thin as an icing, but it's going to be able to spread nicely. But the heat from the cake when it's done will melt our frosting here, or icing here, a little more and thin it down. So let me add one more ingredient. We need a 1/4 teaspoon of our lemon juice, and then just a little squirt of lemon juice in the frosting. Icing, I keep calling it frosting. It's an icing actually. And that's all there is to it. When the cake comes out, we are going to spread this on top of a warm cake, and then our traditional Washington State apple cake will be ready to serve. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. I will be sharing it in the comments below, and we are getting close to the end of our travels, but this week we are still cooking across America, so join me later today for another wonderful recipe from another wonderful state. Thanks, guys.